Gyeongseong Creature, Episode 1.
Alright, here we go. Gyeongseong Creature, Episode 1. So we got this Japanese army that got aboard this mission, right? Next thing you know, they're tossing bodies on bodies on bodies in a fucking bunker. I'm like, what the fuck? They got burned the whole shit down. But the captain ends up picking up these serums. I think he's got like 12 vials of them shits. Then they go to the spot with all these prisoners of hell and they just start blanging off on them niggas. They got done deal, did the shit. They got out there and burn the whole facility down. All of a sudden, this little creature comes out of nowhere, but then he gets burnt up too. A whole year goes by. You got these two people walking around. Let's just call them the Finders. Then they get a newspaper with a little kid, but then all of a sudden this real article comes out about the shit that happened. Then we see people at the print press get attacked by the army, just whipping niggas. They say, look, you go join the army, become a soldier, you go die right here. And most of the people just join the army. Then they end up torturing somebody. Then we got the city, it's got the place, it's called the Golden Treasure. This is like the most prominent spot in the city or whatever like that because they can trade stuff for gold or trade whatever just for cash. Kind of like a world-renowned pawn shop. This dude by Jang runs the population of that shit. His real advantage is being able to get information on niggas. Turns out he's the one getting tortured. Now you're thinking to yourself, how did he get himself in this position? Well, turns out the leader of the police is this dude by the name of Ishikawa. And they think the people that put out the news story are part of this like independence raid or something. Turns out the reason he's got Jang is because Jang fucks with this shit by the name of Maida. He be getting information from her and shit like that. But here's the thing. Maida is actually Ishikawa's wife. But after all the torture, that's not even the reason why he's got him there. The real reason, he needs him to find this chick by the name of Akiko. Apparently she's been missing for like a week. So he basically tells him, if you don't find him a certain amount of time, he's going to take everything he owns and shit. Ishikawa has the ability to do that. So here's the thing we find out. Akiko was actually Ishikawa's side chick at one point in time, and on top of that, she was pregnant. Meanwhile, two finders are searching in certain parts of the city for some dude by the name of Mr. Sachimoto. He's like some type of painter. Yang doesn't want to leave the city, but he does have a backup plan just in case if he has to. Yang talks to people and gets nothing. Ishikawa niggas are watching him 24/7. One of the finders gets into a confrontation with him. He comes back to his house and both of the finders are there. He needs help looking for Akiko. They need help looking for Sachimoto. And one of the finders is also looking for their mom, too. Now, in the midst of all this, we gotta talk about the Japanese army, because these motherfuckers here. Oh, boy. Alright, so the Japanese army has got a bunch of prisoners. They still got prisoners and shit, right? They end up taking these two girls out of their cell and putting them in another cell. And they end up feeding them donuts and water. But the thing they don't know is some of the serum is inside that water. One of them reactions all fucked up to it, so they like, nah. But the other one's just sitting in the corner. So he tells this dude to inject her with the other part of the serum. Now, through all of this, we see Sachimoto. Turns out he's actually with the Japanese army right now. And on top of that, he's their official painter. They bring him into the dungeon, but he needs a closer look, you know what I'm saying? So they give him a flashlight. The one chick's laying there, done deal, dead as shit, you know what I'm saying? Blood splattered all on the walls, and he starts looking up. All of a sudden, this crazy looking creature jumps down like, rah, rah, and it's like, what the fuck? And that was the end of the first episode. I'm like, nigga. Now, of course, the creature ain't do nothing to him because he's still in the cage, but still, that shit was crazy as fuck.
Here we go, Episode 2.
Episode 2. Whew. So we get some backstory around Sachimoto. It turns out he was trying to work for this hospital and draw his paintings there. It turns out this same hospital is sponsored by the Japanese army, and he got caught up in some shit. This one lady consoled him in the underground bunker. It turns out that's the one that got turned into a creature. So then we found out the two finders. One of them is named Cha, and the other one is her father. She got this picture, right? Turns out the dude by the name of Colonel Kaido is the leader of the Japanese army. And the person they turned to a creature is actually Cha's mother. She gets some information. She stalks this dude. Then they find out about this hospital. Turns out this hospital was the last place Akiko was found at or spotted. The thing is, this hospital's not open to the public. You know what I'm saying? It's government officials and shit like that. So Jane goes to talk to his friend, right? Because his friend got family that work at the hospital or whatever like that. So he got a pass. He's going to use his pass to get in the hospital. And of course, he gives him a shit ton of money. China, father, and Jang are ready to go to the hospital now. They get inside. They say they want to see Dr. Takahashi or whatever like that. Now, they know that he's not going to be there, but it's all a distraction. Man. It turns out this distraction was for Cha to sneak into the record room so she could figure out what's going on with Akiko. But she can't find any books on her or nothing. Then this janitor gets the drop on her. We found out this janitor is actually with the resistance too. So here's the thing. The Japanese army has been using niggas. The thing is, the majority of the people they use are the Jensen people. Cha and her father are Jensen people. So is the janitor. And they got these independent groups that want to take down the army. Some of these niggas are secretly working in hospitals, doing all types of jobs to get into the government. Now, the thing is, they heard a shot going off. It sounded like it came from underground. That's when we figured out the Japanese underground bunker is actually under the fucking hospital. Now, speaking of that, Cha's mother ended up murking a couple of these Japanese niggas because she started this big creature and these tentacles grew out of her. Kato's like, this cage ain't big enough. We got to move her to level 4. The thing is, they got to fill her up with nitrogen so they be able to transport her and shit. And they're constantly doing it, making sure she don't wake up. Now, they got her traveling through the prisoners to get there. These like spores keep coming out of her body. They look like small pieces of snow. When the prisoners touched that shit, their bodies immediately started getting eaten from the inside. They all ended up done deal daddy shit. The fuck? So at this point, John and Fry were going to sneak into the facility. They told Jang to go back, you know what I'm saying, and try to look for Sachimoto or get some information or something like that. So he ends up telling one of Shikigawa's bodyguards tells him look up information on Sachimoto, and now get him closer to Akiko. Chai sneaking around, she sees the soldiers, whatever like that, and all of a sudden she starts seeing bodies on bodies on bodies. We know where it came from. Next day comes up, the people say it's a disease in the hospital. They say the whole shit's quarantined. You got the army stationed in front of the hospital with machine guns and shit. Basically, nobody can get out, nobody can get in. They told all the patients first, make sure they got the fuck up out of there. Chang don't know what to do. All of a sudden, this lady comes to the door. We're like, oh shit. This lady he talked to was actually one of the nurses he talked to when he got to the hospital. Turns out she had a message to give him. It was a letter saying, we found Akiko. We're like, oh shit. Turns out this lady's actually part of the resistance too. So now that he knows Akiko is there, he's gonna find some way to bust into that damn hospital. Last thing we see is Chai wander around the bunker, and all you hear is this fucking we're like, oh shit. It's only episode 2 and it's blowing my fucking mind right now.
Episode 3, here we go.
Alright, here we go, episode 3. So Jang ends up meeting up with Maida to try to get Ishikawa off his back, but obviously she ain't got no pull when it comes to her husband. But Yang is still determined to get into that hospital. Because of the note, it also showed for them to meet around like 10 o'clock at night. Then we get to see where the soldiers are taking the monsters down to like the 4th floor or whatever like that. This fucking underground bunker is huge, yo. When they got to the elevator, I think they accidentally knocked off the nitrogen trigger or whatever like that. And guess what? The monster starts waking up. Wants to get all these niggas done deal daddy shit. But not before they ejected them and closed the gate. So now the monster's pretty much in that room chilling. Can't be stopped with bullets or nothing. And when it feeds on people, it only gets stronger. Kato ends up talking to Dr. Chiro. And now they don't think they above each other or whatever like that. They're both on the same level when it comes to power and whatnot. But Chiro's gonna find some way to tame it. Jang ends up getting this picture. It turns out to be a picture of Che's mom, right? He talks to a shorty that works at the bar, right? Turns out she knows who draws the picture. It was Sachimoto. Crazy thing is, she's supposed to meet up with this nigga at 8 o'clock. We're like, wait, what? Yeah, Dr. Chiro let him out on an errand so he could do that and then come back to the hospital. As far as Chai, we see her in the room with this soldier. We're like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is she in the room with this soldier? Well, turns out when she saw the bodies on bodies on bodies, she was really looking at the soldier get beat the fuck up. So we're like, why is he getting beat up? Because he was vomiting, seeing all the bodies? But then we go back to a section when he cleaned up the prisoner rooms, right? Turns out a couple of prisoners are still alive after the spores thing, right? But a lot of them niggas done deal that shit. This one person that happened to have a dress on, which we actually see her throughout all the episodes, really pay attention. That prisoner is actually Akiko. We're like, what? She was actually talking to him about getting her out of there. She knows Ishikawa and all that shit. He basically relayed this information back to Chai's father and the janitor. The reason she was able to get to him because this nigga was about to hang himself. So going by him, they know Akiko is still alive and Sachimoto's still there. They're both in the same fucking bunker. Bar lady and Jang about to meet up with Sachimoto when he accidentally bumps into these dudes. Turns out these are dudes that were trying to get the fucking porcelain thing traded at the Golden Treasure. So they end up beefing with him. He gets cut with windows whipping these niggas' ass. But unfortunately, in the process, he missed Sachimoto. We were like, God damn it. When he gets back to the house, the bar lady's there and Sachimoto's there too. So we're like, all right. So now it's time to implement their plan. Sachimoto's gonna sneak Yang into the hospital. Boy. So while all that's going on, Chai sneaks into this room. It's got heads, body parts, and brains in jars in the room. We're like, what the fuck? And then she sees a bunch of prisoners behind her, whatever like that. So she helps them escape through the vents. All of a sudden, the doctor comes in, and she has to done deal that nigga. And they gotta escape through the vent to get topside, right? The father's on the rooftop. There's like 5 different soldiers come on the rooftop. They try to get drinks. We're like, oh shit. Chai ends up knocking on the chimney top. The soldiers get alerted. Chai's father's gotta distract them. All of a sudden, fireworks start blamming off. Turns out that's Jang's people's giving out the signal. Then he starts whipping the officer's ass. Chai comes out to help out. This officer's about to done deal Chai, but then all of a sudden he gets done deal. By who? Jang pops up just in time to save Chai. Now he's thinking she saved Akiko. It was really just a bunch of prisoners they trying to get up out of there. They still got to do a lot of digging to find her. But they got a time limit. You know why? Because Churro is feeding prisoners to the monster, taking them down there by elevator and whatnot. He's ringing a bell and the monster starts feeding. And he figures he's going to find some way to tame it. Because they're going to use it to fight wars and shit. Yo, this show is crazy as fuck, yo.
Episode 4.
Yo, episode 4. So we see Jang, his best friend Quan, and Sachimoto all in the same room, right? There was an arrow in that room that was pointing up. Chai gave him the indication to go up, but if he had not seen that, he would not have been able to save Chai from the soldiers, and she'd been done deal daddy shit. And that's how Juan saved her life. Now they get the kids and everybody in this room, right? Quan's very apprehensive about saving these kids, but he's trying to save Akiko. So you're like, why is he being such a dick right now? Nevertheless, they move to a different location. Now they do have this map that Sachimoto made, right? Now here's the thing. Chai's never seen Sachimoto before, so she doesn't even know that she's looking right at him. Neither does her dad. They end up sneaking around to get to this room, right? It ends up being Sachimoto's room. A soldier heard something, but then he thought about it, and he goes and tells the other soldiers or something. Only reason they heard something because the kid screamed. The reason the kid screamed because he saw Sachimoto's pictures. All these pictures of what the creature looks like and shit. Chai puts 2 and 2 together and figures out that he's Sachimoto. So she asks about her mom, and he doesn't say nothing. He just says he doesn't know. We know some bullshit. He just don't want to tell us Sachimoto mom is actually the creature. So seeing the despair on her face, Quan comes up with this idea to be able to get the kids out. Man, this shit is crazy. The thing is, Warren, Chai's father, and Quan's friend Kimo have to go back to the rooftop and crawl through the vent. They all get to the vent, but Chemo ends up picking up the sword and slicing all the fucking soldiers that are still up there. Which is very dumb because the soldier was looking at the rooftop and see the sword that alerted them niggas to go up there. One of the soldiers that went to the room already, whatever, now they gotta find the goddamn kids. The soldiers approached Sachimoto in the hallway, you know what I'm saying? They thought they caught something, but they ain't catch nothing. Turns out the kids are escaping through the back way off the cart that Sachimoto brought in to come back into the hospital. The crazy thing is, Chiro has this guest that's supposed to be coming in, right? This guest happens to come the exact same time they open the doors for the kid and them to escape. Nigga. They get out there and they get safe in the golden treasure. Chai and all our boys get through this tunnel. They in this room. Soldier gets a drop on them. Niggas end up getting beat up, but Quan gets the drop on the soldier, saves life. He saved them niggas twice. But then they noticed the wound he had on his stomach, and he's been holding that the whole entire time. He got the wound when he was fighting them samurai niggas when he was trying to meet Sachimoto in the first place. Meanwhile, all this mayhem is going on, Akiko's being moved from one prison to the other. Now, why is that? I think, why is Akiko being moved? Because the guest that's supposed to be meeting up with Chiro is having to move. Now, who is this guest? Turns out it's freaking Maida. I'm like, what? Turns out she's actually the one sponsoring this whole damn thing. If you don't remember, Maida is Ishikawa's wife. The one that asked Juan to look for Akiko in the first place. Then she lets Chiro know that Juan is in the building. We're like, what? Maida was on some shit the whole time. Now it makes sense when they was talking, he was trying to keep him away from the hospital. Nigga. And while this is going on, the creature finds some way to escape where he's at. We're like, oh my God. Because apparently they stopped giving it victims for a while. And the creature broke loose to the next floor and it started murking niggas. All types of soldiers getting all deserved deaths. Yeah, bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies. Kwan dipped off from the group because he got his own mission. Juwan already discussed this with them niggas. He already knew what time it was. Chai's father's going to check the third floor, and he makes sure Chai and Juwan stay together to check the second floor. Because that nigga's still injured, and she needs to be by his side. She's checking this one door. Juwan looks around. The monster pops out dead in front of his face. We're like, oh shit. What the fuck are they going to do right now? Great.
Episode 5. Man.
Episode 5, here we go. Kiwon ends up finding the prisoner cells, but the thing is, he ends up getting caught. They lock him in a cell. And they want him to tell the names of everybody's in here, or bottom line, he's going to become an experiment. He was actually part of the Independence, but the people that did the newspaper stuff, they were actually part of it too, and that's why they got caught up. Chai and Juan somehow ended up escaping a monster because her father Tenchi helped them. They locked themselves in a bunker, and all of a sudden some soldiers were behind them, and they ended up getting caught. Soldiers take her in a cell. Juan ended up going with one of the leaders. Dude got Juan in his room. Thing is, he knew he was there the entire time. When they were trying to get the kids out, he actually saw them. The reason why he let him go, because he wants to strike a deal with them. Juan says under 3 conditions. 1, call the golden treasure and tell them about the plan to get out. 2, take all the security guards away from the prisons. And 3, tell them where they're keeping Chai. While this is going on, Chai's getting beat up by one of these officers. Kato comes through. He's like, all right, that's enough of that shit. He gets her in a room. And when they're talking, he realizes who she is. He finds out she's actually Cho's daughter. Yeah, Cho was her mom's name. He locks her up thinking to himself, he's going to do some experimenting on her ass. But one of the officers gives her a knife back. Which officer would do this? The officer that attempted to commit suicide the first time he talked. And the officer that was beating on him earlier because he was vomiting, that's the same officer that was beating on Chai. Now, Kawan's been fighting for the independence and resistance and whatnot. He's been fighting for the Buram Company. But the thing is, Kawan's father met up with Chiro. It turns out the Buram Company is actually sponsoring the Japanese army. So it's like, so he pays off Chiro and he's thinking to himself he's got to come up with some type of plan. But that's when our people from the Golden Treasure come out to say they're going to help him. We see Chai's father, Tenchi, he's like crawling around through the corridors and whatnot. But nobody's ever spotted him, not even close to spotting him. Chai was locked in this one cell for a particular reason. On one of the walls, she sees a message that says, I love you, Chai, I'm going to see you again. Signed by her mom. So she definitely knows her mom is here. Juan comes in, beat up a couple of guards, gets her out of the cage free. And then apparently they both on 2 different missions. Juan's trying to free everybody and get to Akiko, and Chai's going to look for her mom. Juan isn't coming face to face with the monster. Chai isn't coming face to face with Kato. Episode's crazy, but now I'm going to give myself a couple of thoughts.
Episode 6, here we go.
Episode 6, here we go. So we get to this past scene where Juwan was little. His mom had to hide him from government officials, whatever like that. Next thing you know, she gets stomped out. So in real time, we see where Juwan was looking for the prisoners. They escaped. And they ended up running into the creature, but Juwan saved them. Actually, they ran into some soldiers. They tried to find him, and some of them got done deal deaded and shit. And then Juwan saved them. But that's when the monster popped up. He got all those people into this little bunker. Juwan was almost done deal with Indians finding some nitrogen tanks. Hits the monster with that. She goes sleep. But then he got to get out of there because, spores be popping out of her body. And you don't want to touch that shit. So they're all in this one part of the bunker, and all of a sudden Tenchi pops up. We're like, oh shit. So he tells Tenchi to take the prisoners or whatever like that, meet up at his top bunker room, and he's going to go find Chai. So before I said to people, the Golden Treasury got this plan, and Miss Lee there is like his surrogate mother, you know what I'm saying? All the rest of the people, the Golden Treasure. When we get this flashback to her getting tortured, beat the fuck up, they talked about this one scene where they made her mix water and chili pepper and fed it to her, and it had her spun upside down. I was like, what the fuck? Bottom line, they kicked her out of the facility, but the young Juwan was just sitting there in the cold. Man, this shit gets crazy. Bottom line, she ends up taking him in. because she saw his real mother die inside of that building. So that's why she's like a surrogate mother to Juwan. Ishikawa somehow gets an anonymous tip about missing women being held in the hospital. So now they got his suspicions raised because he ain't know nothing about nothing. Meanwhile, Child's got Kato at gunpoint, and he tells her the monster is actually her mother. So basically, he's gonna get Kato to take her to him. But as the soldiers come up to meet Kato, he drop a little bullshit hints, and the soldier comes from the back and knocks out Child. Next thing you know, she wakes up chained up in a level 4 prison, the same spot where they try to keep the monster at. Soldiers pushing the monster back with nitrogen just so he can fall to the elevator to bed down and meet her. I'm like, damn. Kato's over top with niggas pointing down guns. Niggas got guns on level 4, they got guns everywhere. So you think of yourself, how is Juwan going to save her from all this? The monster gets to face with Cha, but it actually recognizes her and tries to protect her. Then she cuts her chains and knocks her away. With the monster being shot at with bullets and nitrogen, right at that moment, Juwan takes her out of there. At the same time, Kwon wrote down all the names of everybody on that shit. I was like, damn. His people's government officials, all that shit. Crazy. And with Kwon's situation, he really didn't have a choice because they were starving the shit out of him. But the thing is, Kwon's father's been talking to Shiro. I think he probably would have made a deal to get him out of there anyway, but after giving him all that information, he's probably definitely getting out of there now. It's crazy. So Cha and Juwan find 2 officers done deal them dressed like officers and roll with the crew. They all meet back up with Tenchi and the prisoners. Then somebody else comes in the door. Turns out, Akiko pops up in the door, along with the cop that was trying to make a deal with Juwan earlier. He's just trying to get the fuck out of here now at this point, so they all together. Now to a certain point, I thought Kato wanted to keep Cha alive because she got the DNA of her mom and he wants to probably make another monster or whatever like that. But it got to a point where he was just like, no, I just want to kill her. I was like, what the fuck? He was on this crazy shit at first and now his regular instincts are taking over. Ishikawa and his boys still were searching the hospital, but they ain't gonna find nothing. One of the dudes from the Golden Treasure got a car around the side of the building. Now, how's he able to do that? Because he's dressed like one of Ishikawa's officers. Will they escape? Will Kato, Chiro, and the squad get done deal?
Episode 7, maximum craziness.
Yo, episode 7, what the fuck? So Ishikawa was with Chiro, you know what I'm saying? His troops are searching the campus, you know what I'm saying? It's going from day to night to searching. One of the Golden Treasure dudes disguised himself as an officer so he could use his truck to get around the back. So all the prisoners can escape in the truck, you know what I'm saying, and get up out of there. One soldier comes in here, gunshot, done deals his shoulder, and alerts the other soldiers. Like, oh shit, they ain't got much time. So Ja, Juwan, and Tito, the soldiers that's been helping them out, are gonna fend off these niggas. All the other prisoners are chilling in the truck now. Then they climb down the window. In the process, Tito ends up getting shot, done deal, did his shit, but they murked a lot of them niggas. He gets shot to climb down from the window. Other dude comes down, and then he cuts the rope off. Basically, Juwan's gonna stay back to hold niggas off. But they ain't got time to wait. There's no choice. They gotta go. Juwan ends up escaping through vents, and these niggas chase him to the vents. Chiro's trying to find the prisoners. He's spazzing out. Kato goes in his room with one of the soldiers and asks who jumped for the cup. The only people who saw in that room was Akiko, the soldier that was trying to make the deal with Juwan himself, and Cha. But he don't know who jumped for the cup because he got knocked out. That particular cup had the serum in it. Man, it's about to get even crazier. Yo, during the escape, there are 3 trucks. One with Ishikawa in it, one with some random officers, and another one with all the prisoners in it. They drop off Akito safe and sound for Ishikawa and they go about their business. They're about missing prisoners, and the other truck starts getting suspicious. So the truck starts chasing another truck into the town. There's like a parade set up in town, so they end up losing the truck for a minute. While this is happening, they already had it for the truck to meet up at the tailor's. Snuck them in there, got them some clothes, snuck them out the back, got most of the prisoners hiding in the little chair rotting things, and they was dipping off. So when the officer tried to do a back turn, they see all these chairs going past him, but they ain't suspect a thing. They was just trying to get to the truck. So as officers surround the truck, they end up catching Mr. T, you know, the guy that's with the Golden Treasure and stuff. Of course, they check the truck, ain't nobody in there, but they end up arresting Mr. T, but bottom line is he gonna get out anyway, because, you know what I'm saying, they ain't got no evidence. But he did impersonate a cop, though, so damn. Ishikawa with Akiko, he giving it a business at a random location, he ain't coming home. Meanwhile, Juwan man's in this basement part, it's like nothing with body and bones and shit all over the place, bodies on bodies on bodies. And then the commander ends up catching him, we're like, oh my god, he's about to be done deal dead as shit. Oh, you hear shots ring off, we're like, what the fuck? The shots rang off, but we never saw what happened. Maida goes to the hospital talking to Chiro, and she about to dismiss him of his duties because he's been incompetent. But he let her know about one test subject that was successful. I obviously gave all the information on Cha's mom. And now I think about it, I ain't seen Sachimoto in a couple of episodes. I'm pretty sure they probably gonna figure out where to get him at. Where has he been? Akiko and Kishikawa is laying in the bed, sleeping and stuff. That's all fine and dandy. Kato gets news that the monster's been contained, you know what I'm saying? It's been contained for like the whole episode. They've been spreading nitrogen gas on it, keeping it asleep. He still can't figure out who drank from the fucking cup. We're thinking to ourselves, Then we get to the scene where the commander's dead as shit. Juwan ends up getting up but badly injured. I'm like, how the fuck did he survive that shit? Because he had the gun pointing in his head, wasn't on the ground. There's no way he would have survived, right? We're like, oh shit, did he drink the cup? But then we go back to Akiko being asleep, and all of a sudden, we see this worm crawling around the inside of her head. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Akiko was the one that drank the cup. This woman having a baby. Why would she do this? She was with the dude trying to get away. Where would she have time to even drink a fucking cup? What the fuck? Last image you see in the episode is Tito's mom, right? And she had came to the Golden Treasure a while ago to try to trade away a soul machine. But she was trying to get some money to get her son out of the army. But she's pretty much been using that as income for like, a good amount of years. And he had told Juwan's stepmom to hang on to it. But now she gets a package in the mail with the sewing machine that she got back and a medal, indicating to her that, yeah, your son did his shit. It was sad.
Episode 8, let's get crunk.
Episode 8. So Kawanda basically gave up niggas' names. They let him go, give him back to his dad. Now he's in the house recuperating. Maida meets up with Chiro to visit the bunker, and she sees Choi herself in monster form. And she calls her teacher Choi. We like, wait a minute, she knows her? What's the backstory on that shit? Juwan escapes to another part of the bunker, somehow ends up getting Maida in this one room, and because he's dressed like a soldier, he's using her to get the hell out of the hospital. And he finally makes it out. She takes care of him, takes care of his injuries, and then we realize he's been in there for like 4 days. While this has been going down, Chai's been sitting in front of the golden treasure for like 4 days straight, just waiting for her boo to come back. Her father Tenchi's traumatized by all this situation, finding out the mom's the monster, and all that shit. Meanwhile, the regular police have got most of Juwan's people locked up, including Mr. T, who they start torturing, because they're looking for the prisoners. They torture him by peeling his fingernails off, doing electrical shock treatment, mixing chili pepper in his nose while hanging him upside down and shit. All that shit, but bottom line is, he ain't snitch. They got tired, got him back in his cell. Juwan makes it back to the golden treasure, lets everybody know he's safe. Yeah. And now he's got to go save Mr. T and all his people. While that's going on, Ishikawa finds out there's a bunch of deaths. It was like 6 deaths, but the thing is, their brains have been eaten out. You're like, what the fuck? That's right, Akiko's been out there snacking on niggas. But he's not as surprised by this now. Why is that? Because the other night he noticed Akiko was gone. He looked around his house to see a body on the ground, and guess what? It was the maid. She got done the same treatment. So we kind of already knew what was up. All of a sudden, Juwan shows up. He wants to talk to Ishikawa. The bottom line, he wants all his people out, so he got to make a deal with him. He tells Ishikawa he's going to give him some information about the hospital and all that shit. He also tells him that Maida sponsored the whole shit, financials and everything. So now his peoples go free. Now he's got to go find Chai. Chai's wandering around the streets because she's going to get her father Tenchi some food. She felt like she was being snuck up on. Dude turns around, and it's Juwan. She's like, oh, shit. She's just so happy to see him, and for good reason. So they're getting food. All of a sudden, they hear a shot go off. It's like, what the heck? These niggas can't get no peace. Akiko was about to snack on another nigga. They end up chasing her away with fire. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why does she still look like herself if she's going through all these transformations? Well, Maida ends up talking to Ishikawa. He knows what's up now. Turns out their marriage was actually a business transaction. She needed her influence to become lieutenant. Ishikawa needed it. And Maida needed him to transfer into the country and also keep the cops at bay to work on her projects. I think she really started it because of Akiko. The thing is, she's been sponsoring this shit for at least like 10 years. That's when Chai's mother got kidnapped. So Maida goes in to meet up with Kato. And this is how it goes. Akiko's distributing man-ballistic type urges because she only had the serum, which was in that cup. Chai's mom turned into a monster because she had the serum with some type of anthrax mixture or something. He says he got the concoction from like Siberia or something like that. Bottom line, he's got plenty of both mixtures. So that's why Akiko still looks human. But then she also finds out Choi's daughter is actually Chai. Maida helped Juwan because she actually has feelings for him. But clearly it's not mutual on his side. So now while Akiko is running from Chai and Juwan, the officer she attacked before that shoots a flare gun, and then all the officers are chasing after her. She says, don't kill me, so basically she's still human, somewhat. And basically the chase is on, man. Shit is crazy.
Episode 9. Whew.
Alright, y'all, episode 9. Let's fucking get it. So Maida tells Kato he gonna be a head charge of the whole shit because Chiro is leaving. The cops end up catching up with Akiko. Ishikawa tries to put her in a damn cage because she'd have killed like 10 niggas. But instead she goes straight after Ishikawa and starts clawing him the fuck up. Then she gets shot up and done deal. Is she officially dead? I don't know. Chai goes back to the house and finds out Tenchi's gone. He went back to the hospital so he could see his ex-wife, who we all know was the monster if you haven't been paying attention. The monster's been trying to break out this cage for a while, and then it ran out of prisoners. So they basically end up locking up Tenchi, because they think about feeding them to her, you know what I'm saying? Juwan ends up meeting up with Chai. He shows him this room full of antiques. He starts looking at this collection of guns on the side. Then he gives her this silver bracelet for good luck. They had this heart-to-heart conversation about staying together, hugging and all that, and all of a sudden he kisses her. I'm like, oh shit, it's about damn time. And he clapped her cheeks and all that. Good job. Hopefully this won't be the last time they seen each other. Ishikawa succumbs to his injuries, he ends up dying. But Chiro helped out the situation by injecting some poison into him. They just said, fuck it. I'm like, what? And you can tell by looking at Maida's face, she didn't care if her husband died or not. I mean, now she got all the power. But she got to keep up appearances to the rest of the officers. So while Jane goes out and executes his plan, he got to talk to his boy Kiwon to get to some other niggas so they can get to this supply of bombs. And they say, fuck all that. We're going to blow up the whole goddamn hospital. But before all that happens, Chiro's about to dip because he's about to head back to Tokyo after the funeral. Fucking Chai pops out of nowhere, looks at Chiro, pulls out the gun, and we're like, oh shit. She took one of the guns from Jane's collection. There's a dud dare Chiro, he done did his shit. So we get this slow motion with police chasing, and Chai falls to the ground, she got blood coming out of her head. We're like, what the fuck did she just get shot in the head? She done deal, what the fuck? Shane Jang gets the news, he's on his way. One of the cops that's been telling him the whole series gives us some information about somebody else being at the top of the food chain. So now you're heading back to the house to get some info. Next thing we see Chai wakes up all of a sudden. We're like, what the fuck? She wakes up in this one room, this other guy's tied to the fucking wall. And then who comes to meet her? Fucking Lady Maida, yo. And she's basically keeping her prisoner. Man, yo. And the next thing we see, Maida shows up at the Golden Treasure. She has a one-on-one with Juan. Now the whole thing is they're trying to put everything on the wraps. They say Ishikawa died of natural causes, but Kiko's back at the hospital somewhere, supposedly. And they're basically trying to shut down anybody that knows anything about the hospital. So they act like shit never took place. So Maida tries to convince Juan that Chai is dead. But he ain't really falling for that shit. Because he went through his sources and never seen nothing about her body in the papers. So he's wondering how Maida got this information. Putting two to two together, right? Now the thing is, Maida really likes Juan on the real low. That's why she's always kept helping him out. Now you can see where this is going. She had beef with Akiko, even though she don't really fuck with her husband Ishikawa like that. And she got beef with Chai, even though she really fuck with Juan like that. But she's still about her business, running the Japanese army and all that stuff. So she's like, you really gonna make an enemy out of me? And then she's like, oh, you really trust these people behind you? And she starts calling them out on their shit. Juwan's stepmom betrayed his mom by snitching on her. Mr. T, through all the torture and punishment he went, turns out he actually did confess some shit. And Quan snitching too. But this is how Juwan turned it around. He's saying if we weren't in a fucked up society like this, they wouldn't have to do what they had to do. And also talked about the one kid that was working there. The kid's actually giving secrets to her crew just so he could get a plane ticket or a ticket just to go to Tokyo. His was the weakest out of all, but still snitching though. But Juwan says, yeah, the situation succumbed to this. And so she's pissed off. So you know what she does? She ends up giving Chai over to Kato. I'm like, oh shit. And we see the monsters back down on the 4th floor. The thing is, they disabled the elevator so you can't get up through the elevator. The thing is, Choi says it's Chai in the area. Last thing we see is her breaking through the fucking top part of the floor. We're like, oh shit. I sense a lot of army man about to get duffed out this bitch. Whew, one more episode to go.
Episode 10, season finale. Let's get it.
Season finale, oh my god, let's get it. So Jang got an explosive, he sets it up through the front gate, gets them niggas up out of there. Meanwhile, Choi breaks through the top of the corridor and now she's about to break loose and turn monstrous and start whipping niggas. But Kato still got Chai as a hostage, so he's running around back and forth or whatever like that, making sure the monster don't do nothing to him. He gets as many troops as he can together and try to find whatever bit of nitrogen is left. He wants to take us to a secluded location while they spraying the monster with nitrogen. And he's basically going to get his serums and his anthrax and get the hell up out of there. Jang gets inside the jail and apparently meets up with Tenchi, who eventually just broke himself out of the jail. He was crawling around the corridors. The vents and whatnot. He says, you get Chai, get up out of here. I'm going to stay here and be with my wife, you know what I'm saying? So Tenchi convinced him to give him the dynamite. Jang ends up rescuing Chai from the foot soldiers. Kato's getting the serum trying to get the hell up out the room, but he almost gets killed. And then the monster ends up hearing Tenchi singing. Now Tenchi's already set up this dynamite. Blows up the entire first floor, everybody gets done deal fucked. Or so we thought. Juwan and Chai get up out of there with the help of Sachimoto. I was like, where the heck has he been? Apparently he's been inside the entire time. Maybe since like episode 5 or something. See, when they drive through the door because of all the commotion and all the flames they got to put out and all that shit. We find out with one arm, Choi is still alive. Tenchi, however, is not. And she made it to the rooftop and shit. So basically, we got a monster on the loose. Meanwhile, people at the Golden House get this message from Juwan, that tells them to drop off some money at a secret location. Because they got to get this money to get this boat so both of them can get the hell up out of there. Chai and Juwan. The stepmom packs up the suitcase, but the thing is, they can't go by car because they got police watching niggas. So the boy that's working there, he's like, yo, trust me, I got this. Nobody gonna suspect me riding a bike and shit. So he's riding his bike, but he doesn't realize some niggas is watching him. So you think of yourself as the police, right? Well, why they on the rooftop? It ain't the police. So Chai and Juwan get to the location or whatever like that. The boy shakes off one car, but then realize another car's following him. Then they're surrounded by a bunch of cars. Turns out Maida was following the whole time, and they got her assassination squad ready to deal niggas. So they fighting everybody off for bottom line as they outnumbered. Right on cue, Chai's mom come through and start lacing these niggas. Not gonna front, they was handling their own for a little bit. The couple about to make their getaway, but then all of a sudden the mom spots them, and then this shit happened. So both of them been significantly get wounded or whatever like that. They fall to the ground. So the creature's about to attack Juwan, but then Chai pushes about the way, and the mom ends up stabbing Chai through the stomach. I'm like, what the fuck? And she legit ended up dying right there at the hands of her mom, yo. What the fuck? She confessed her love for Juwan, and that's why he remained alive after that. Then we see Maida at Ishikawa's real funeral because the other one was the wake, I guess. All these niggas in the church, right? Then she gets a note from Juwan saying farewell. She's like, what the fuck? Then she looks around and sees Mr. T putting up the flowers. We like, oh shit. Then she got these letters from all these different people, from Chai, from Chai's mom, from Juwan. I know she's thinking to herself, what the fuck is going on? Turns out they set up a bunch of damn bombs in the dang thing. So when she starts running towards the door, all of a sudden, boom, destruction. Bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies. Made a done deal, right? Next thing you know, we see Juwan with Q on. He confesses about snitching and all that. Well, he already knew that. Juwan wasn't even tripping off it. So we go back to the hospital, and we found out Kato survived the explosion. Not only that, he was with Akiko, And she had the baby. The baby had the worm in the head. Aw, shit. So at this point, I guess some time passed, and Kato got a uniform. He's in this room, right? Turns out he's in a room with Lady Maida in a fucking wheelchair. I'm like, how the hell did she survive this shit? He asks her, does he want to go back to Tokyo, or do you want to do some experiments in a new world or some shit like that? As you do a close-up on Maida, you see half her face and her body is burnt the fuck up. And they show a close-up on her eye, and they show her looking down. And she's looking down at this cup, and I'm like, did he give her the fucking serum and all that shit? Then we get the scene in the water where we see Chai and her mom, and Chai definitely done deal with this shit. But we see this worm come out of her mom's back, and the worm goes straight inside Chai's mouth. I guess that was her mom's lifeline because she falls down to the bottom of the ocean. Next thing we see, Chai's eyes wake up, open up, we're like, oh shit. The last scene we get is this dude named Hoji in the new city. And we're like, who is this nigga? And I heard season 2 was already in the works. This shit was fucking fire.